Beyond the classroom is personal growth. There may not have been a challenge that they have to consistently do something that's going to be turned into a grade,
Right.
but also can lead into greater leadership growth and opportunities. The teamwork aspect of it all. The fact that you're coming together with students that you may not have ever known, may not have ever taken other classes with, and then you get to build that camaraderie. And then as we practice over the weeks, you get to see that you guys are marching in sequence. You're doing all these neat things that actually look good from a bystander that's just looking
Hmm.
on.
I'm joined today with one of the coolest people that has been added to this school district in a long, long time. We've got a lot of great things that are offered here in the Clinton Public School District, but there is nothing quite like our Coast Guard JROTC and Commander Jeanita Jefferson, who is, like I said, one of the coolest people who commands a room and builds young men and young women into what they can totally be down the road. So, Commander Jefferson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. We'll get right into it. I can't brag on you enough. I really honestly can't. I've gotten to watch how you interact with some of our students and how you push them. My favorite thing to watch is when I show up and you're doing PT and you're doing wall sits with the kids and you're showing some of them up. I think that's pretty good to know that you can, if you can do it, they can do it. But you're very truly much the perfect person to not only have this job, but to kickstart this entire program for Clinton. So, how did your timeline in the Coast Guard help you prepare for your efforts needed to establish this JROTC unit at a new school?
That's a great question. I spent 22 years in the Coast Guard. And one thing that the Coast Guard taught me, well, three things that the Coast Guard taught me is, if I can break it down into three words: knowledge, practical, and people. So, with the knowledge base, anything that you're doing in the Coast Guard, you have to understand the regulations behind it. You have to understand what gives you the authority to do what you do. You have to do the educational book work in the background to really understand how you, as a service member in the Coast Guard, particularly, would be able to present the authority to somebody else in regulations. The fact that they send you to school, they train you for every job that you do. It always starts with the knowledge base, like I said, laying out the foundation of the laws, regulations, and the book work, the classroom experience time, and then turning that into the practical piece of it. The practical piece meaning more like hands-on, getting out to experience and action what you just learned, how to administer and apply those out in the field. So when you go out into any port in the United States, I mean LA, New York, New Orleans, Savannah, Baltimore, and you're interfacing with the merchant mariners and the professional mariners, you got to know what you're talking about. And you got to know what gives you the authority to say, hey, we're going to fine you for this particular offense. Or, hey, we need to call in backup because we need to open up an investigation because we found something out on scene. And so, like I said, the knowledge meeting the practical, and then with the people, you train with people, people train you, you train people. And so, with that being said, you have the background, you have the practical piece, and then you have the people piece, getting to trust your team, understanding that everybody needs to be in complete, being able to do the job together and trusting that they can do the job and have your back. And so, turning to this Gerald TC program, I do it the same way. The knowledge piece, we have the cadet field manual and we also have the cadet drill manual. Mostly everything that we do is going to go back to one of those two books. And so, I mean, the cadet field manual is going to teach you everything from all of the background of the program motto, the reasons why we do what we do as cadets. It's a citizenship program. And so, um, going further into how to wear the uniform, what ribbons and other accolades you can earn as a cadet while you're in the program, what extracurricular activities that the program offers. And then the drill manual. How do you do color guard step by
Hmm.
step? How do you do arm drills step by step? How do you do marching drills step by step? And then with the people part, we're a team. So from day one, when the cadets enter the classroom, I reiterate, look around. Let's get to know each other because this is the team that you're going to be working with in this block. And all of our principles go back to the cadet field manual and the drill manual. And so we're going to be looking for some cadets to step into leadership to really learn those things. But in order to be a good leader, you also have to be a follower. So if they learn to observe me, follow me, get into the manual like I teach them to do, then eventually their growth in leadership will allow them to lead the future cadets.
Now, that's the same thing that you see in traditional education classes. I remember way back in the day, back when I was teaching, there was the method of all the veteran teachers out there will remember the I do, we do, you do. So you're
Yeah,
you're getting to model it for them. Again, even in PT, but going back to those two manuals like you're talking about, you're getting to let them know where they can find the answer, but there's a standard that they got to live up to, and
that
and
is
I,
correct.
I I think that's just absolutely amazing. So Clinton High School's Coast Guard JRTC is Mississippi's only Coast Guard JROTC unit, and it was one of four sites that were selected when they expanded those offerings back in, I believe, 2023. And I remember kind of playing in some of the jokes. I didn't serve in the military, but my father did. He was in the Navy, and so he would always say that the Marines would get on ship and always say thanks for the lift. So there's always the jokes that the different branches give each other. And I remember when we added the JRTC unit here, people were always like, Coast Guard. We don't. Why are we selecting Coast Guard? There's no coast here in central Mississippi, but there was a whole reason behind it. So, how does our proximity and to various Coast Guard sectors benefit what all of the students are exposed to?
Well, let me just say, like, there is a benefit to being in Central Mississippi. Clinton is a great school district. Obviously, it wasn't just a pie in the sky that this school district was selected to be a Coast Guard JROTC program and the only one in the state of Mississippi. We are surrounded by other areas. For example, New Orleans, they have an air station, they have the small boat stations. They pretty much do majority of our 11 statutory missions out of that area. And then to our north, we have Memphis. They're on the river, obviously. From Memphis heading back down, we have some river tenders as well as they call them detachments along the way that do the inland river regulated, waterway stuff. And
Hmm.
then we have Mobile. Mobile is to our east. I mean, they have a air station. They train a good majority of the pilots in the Coast Guard after they do their initial training in Pensacola, Florida. So we are surrounded, just not in the turf for U.S. navigable waters. But with that being said, all the areas I just named, we attract visitors because of proximity. The
That's
the
right.
Coast Guard District 8, the Heartland District, is in New Orleans. And so if they have any significant visitors or occurrences to occur, they're always interested in what we're doing here, as well as vice versa. They've supported us. So far, we've taken 2 trips to New Orleans where we've been able to introduce the cadets to Coast Guard operations up close, live, and personal.
Yeah, and it's a young program. Like you're talking about, lots of people come to visit. So when Clinton's was added in 2023, one of the other four was Saraland, Alabama, which is just outside Mobile. I grew up. I spent time in Satsuma, Alabama, which is the size of a Satsuma. So I know that area well, and so it's a good little relationship to where if the two units wanted to get together and go to Mobile, they could totally do that. And so you can work together again, more teamwork. But it's such a young program, and you've gotten to see a lot of firsts and special moments. Some of the people who visited kind of come to mind. So I want you to kind of tell me who has come to visit your unit and what kind of special moments have you gotten to experience?
Well, the first biggest unit visit that we had obviously was the unit establishment ceremony. We had that in November of 2023. It's the official commissioning ceremony for any new JROTC unit. We had Admiral Will Watson to come down at the time. He presided over the ceremony. He presented our unit with the flag, so that was very special. And we got a special video from Senator Roger Wicker, so that was very important to show his support for the program as well. Last year and year before, we also had one of the Coast Guard's first African American female admiral. She's from Jackson, Mississippi. She's been here twice, like I said, visiting the classroom and students throughout the day, presenting them with special accolades. I know that the first year of the program, she recognized all of our senior cadets that were going to be graduating with certificates. But she's very special, like I said, because she's the first African female admiral in the Coast Guard, but also because she's from our local area. It was kind of cool because she had the news crew here
Yeah. Oh yeah.
shadowing her, doing her visit. And it made a nice touch if you had the opportunity to actually see the feature.
Yeah, we got some. I remember I came and took some pictures. I'll make sure that I put it in this episode so people can see it. But it was really cool and it was really great because I don't know. One of the things that I love to kind of brag about, which is half of my job, but I love to brag about what you do and then what all of our teachers, coaches, sponsors, everything do in this district is all of our people are just normal human being people. There's nothing wildly special, but everybody's doing awesome things. And so getting her to come and visit, she's just a lady who's from Jackson, but she's done amazing things so it can inspire everybody else to do the same thing. All right, so let's say that you've got a student. So your program, unlike some of the other ones that are offered at the high school, your program is ninth through 12th grade. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So how do you go about selecting these students?
So first year students, if you are enrolling in JROTC one, the doors open. If you're interested, the day one we go over what's required for you to actually be a successful JROTC student. And we also ask for your parents' support in it because we want them to understand that there are going to be some changes in how they may do their day to day and
Yeah.
some expectations as well. So, like I said, day one, we introduce to them the schedule. You're going to do physical training unless your belly aches, you didn't eat good, and you're just not prepared physically to do it. We do it as a team. Also, the drill, we do it as a team. Some cadets will start to step up into the leadership positions after the
Mhm.
first few weeks of class. We give them the opportunity to put in an application to determine after they've seen the different things in progress, where do they see themselves in the program, and then we give them a go at it. And if they are looking like they are on track to execute a leadership position, we keep them in it, we coach them, we mentor them through it. So uniform wear once a week, that's one of the program requirements for JROTC students for Coast Guard. And then we work out at least once a week. So you're going to get PT here at least once a week, and you're going to get uniform inspection and drill here once a week.
See, I like that expectation of, and it's good advertising because when you see these kids showing up in their class A's, it's like, oh dang, everybody looks good like that. And I try to make sure if I see somebody walking down the hall, in their class A's, I'm like, you look good. And like I feel good. I'm like, that's great. That's
Yeah.
everything is awesome. So that's such a wonderful thing. So you got that person that wants to join. They're kind of thinking one way or another. What opportunities are presented to them that kind of go beyond the classroom?
Beyond the classroom is personal growth. Like there may not have been a challenge that they have to consistently do something that's going to be turned into a grade,
Right.
but also can lead into greater leadership growth and opportunities. Um, the teamwork aspect of it all, the fact that you're coming together with students that you may not have ever known, may not have ever taken other classes with. And then you get to build that camaraderie. And then as we practice over the weeks, you get to see the fruits of that, of that work. You get to see that you guys are marching in sequence. You're doing all these neat things that actually look good from a bystander that's just looking
Hmm.
on.
Correct.
And then also the citizenship piece. I mean, that's the main important part. If you can achieve the everything else, normally they'll start growing into the citizenship piece a little bit better with their personal development, their responsibility for themselves as well as others. Um, in this program, we teach multiple things. We teach military history, we teach Coast Guard history, but this previous 9 weeks, I also taught credit. I taught credit scores. I taught interest rates. I taught college applications, opportunities for beyond high school. What does that look like? Is that going into the workforce? If so, this is how you research those opportunities. If not, if you're going to community college, how does that look? If you're going to a college or university, the difference between the population of different schools, private versus public, the cost of school. So, and I often tell them as well, don't get too comfortable because I'm gonna tell them like I tell my own daughter that's in the ninth grade. Your parents don't want you at their house forever.
I love you, love you. Go make something of yourself somewhere else.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I love the fact that you're reiterating the things that they're learning in other classes, but they're getting to hear it from a different perspective. And then you've had over these years, like I said, when it started, everyone was expecting there's going to be a few people that's going to join. You might have a couple dozen. I believe y'all overshot that by maxing out. Well, how many? Do you remember how many was in it right when you started?
Oh my goodness. Like when I first pulled up the enrollment day one, the program was like it was over 150. I believe it was like around 155. I can go back
Wow.
to one of my old notebooks because I'm a note keeper and
Yeah,
I make a lot of that's how I
that's
that's
right.
how I personally manage. But and I would just look over the next few weeks, like, okay, did they change their schedule? What's the case? But first year, by second semester, we landed like around 144 by the time it was all over. And we've been maintaining ever since. So
Yeah,
even with graduation, cadets that move to other school districts or move out the area, cadets that are like, all right, I'm a one and done, we've still been able to maintain that level.
and so much so that I believe with the growth you've had to add a an additional uh, is he commander? What's his
Chief.
chief? Okay, so chief is in there. So tell us about the big burly bald guy that gets to walk around with everybody and encourage them in the Coast Guard as well.
So one thing everybody should know, the program, like once you have over 100 cadets for sure, should always have two instructors.
Yeah.
And so when Chief showed up, he took all the first years. And he's really into like we said, like just giving them that citizenship piece up
Hmm.
front, making them understand early on what the program priorities and requirements are, and continuing to mentor them into their own personal successes as they start to grow into their leadership. So he's teaching them the ropes, but also starting to give them the reins because we're in the third 9 weeks
Yeah.
to see, all right, the first two 9 weeks, these are the cadets that's starting to rise up to the occasion. And then there's some followers as well that's looking really good that may not have actualized that they too can be leaders. So he and I, we do a lot of observing, we do a lot of mentoring. Um, we do a lot of parenting too, truth be
Yeah.
told. Because
Well,
I asked them, like, what were your grades? Are they good? What's your parents going to say? Have you talked to your parents about this? So we develop relationships with them as well to, just help them encourage their growth.
yeah, I like that. One of the biggest, I guess the easiest visual manifestation of that I got to experience was last semester during the promotion ceremony where everyone got moved up, and it was cool to see families there. One of the aspects that I love about this program is, in public school, you've got kids whose parents are extraordinarily involved and they are attached to the hip, but then you've got some kids who are in it for themselves and they might not have the greatest support system at home. So the fact that they found both of you to back them up and build that accountability group that can kind of be there for them. They get something physical that they can put on their shirts when they put the cords around their arms. It's something of I've earned this. I've moved up.
Yeah.
Do have you seen so far? with the seniors that have graduated, how many of them are utilizing the military beyond high school? Are any of them entering National Guard? Are they going enlisting full time? Are they doing ROTC at college? What have you seen as they've moved on into the college realm or
I've
post high
seen
school?
I've seen them beyond high school. We do have some cadets that have gone active duty, a couple of Coast Guard. National Guard is very popular around the area, very visible. So we have a lot of cadets that have joined the Army National Guard. Um, this year, just talking to some of the seniors and their future plans. We got a few that's definitely interested in Coast Guard active duty, a few that's interested in Air Force. I know last year one of the cadets joined the Marines. So, I
Mhm.
mean, we promote like self growth, discipline, and responsibility where pick your path, but be great in what you choose and try to
Mhm.
grow and be a good citizen and be a good person.
Yeah.
So.
I like that, and I like that you've seen some growth within that because I've seen that. I know that there are a few in there that military life is their dream, so they're utilizing this right now to kind of get a foundation to then springboard into the future. Um, what kind of aspects have you seen that of improvement? Because, like I said, we always talk at our house, everything's a plus one day. If you're at least plus one better than yesterday, then you're great. Everybody is generally going to be a plus 100, but a plus one day, if that's your bad day, you're still better than yesterday. What kind of improvements have you seen? I guess in the unit itself, in the way the program is run, but also in the way that you manage it and start it off and continue it through the year.
No, as the cadets grow into, hey, Commander, like, what's next? Like, they get excited, especially the third year cadets. They've been with the program since day one. They have gotten the opportunity to actualize the growth. When we first started, obviously none of the extracurriculars in JROTC had started because the program was brand new.
Mhm.
The third year cadets, they have seen us grow the color guard team. They've gotten to the point where if they're a third year color guard member, then they're teaching the new up and coming members of the color guard for the next school year.
Yeah,
Same thing with we have an athletic team now. I don't know if you know that or not.
I didn't know that. This is news. Okay.
Yeah, they competed last year at the state championship. It was held at Germantown in April. This year is going to be held at Germantown High School in April again.
Okay.
And so they've been practicing, trying to build up their, athletic talents and abilities because it's six different events during that particular um, um, JROTC meet, and they have to, as a new team, start to develop their reputation out there. And so they've been doing that as well. This year, for the first time, we've added an academic team.
Okay.
And so the academic team took their first exam. There's five members, four primary and one, um, I'm losing the word,
Like an
which
alternate, one alternate.
alternate, yes,
Yeah,
one alternate. And they took their first test. It can be on anything. It's kind of similar to like ACT style
yeah,
questions, but then they may throw in some military history or even some pop culture questions. And they fared very well. They've made it to level two. And so, with that being said, they
yeah. Nice.
have from February the 1st through the 15th to take their level two exam. So, that's going to be coming up soon. So, we're just continuing to grow, gain interest in the development of the program, also while we're developing the cadets into the interest in that will, grow the program. So, it's
Yeah.
happening all the time.
Oh, it's amazing. And so the very first time I ever heard of anything really with the Coast Guard, um, was I mean, you always saw the helicopters flying on the beach and everything, but my roommate in college, I've got to say this, my roommate in college, Patrick Oakes, his grandfather served in the Coast Guard in World War II, and so his grandfather. So he used to tell us stories all the time about World War II stories in with the Coast Guard, and so seeing it progress from his stories from the 40s into what it is now where these kids get an opportunity, it's just amazing, and I'm very thankful that it's offered here, and I'm twice as thankful that you are the one who's headed this thing up. So as we move forward, what would you like to see the program continue to get? Like, what's a goal? If you got one or two things that we really would like to land on this, with 3 years under our belts, what does the future look like?
So the future is we want to take our arm drilled and our unarmed drill team and enter some competitions for sure. Just as we continue to grow, get out here and compete against other JROTC units to see how we fare, how we land. I know when I see them drill out here now that they have a sense of pride when they land things and things look really good and sharp and the execution of it is flawless, depending on what they're doing. But we're ready to start, entering some contests in the future. So that's one of the goals, as well as continue to grow the athletic team because we are doing the one in Germantown, like I said, in April, but there's other opportunities throughout the state that if we wanted to start entering some of those competitions, then we want to look forward to that as well. Marksmanship. The marksmanship program is one of the ones that eventually will get off the ground. Students are very excited when they hear first day, second day, like these are the activities that are typically associated with JROTC. And so when we get the opportunity to start teaching them to aim, shoot, take care of the weapons, weapon safety, I think that that's going to be a great opportunity for them as well.
That's awesome. Well, Commander Jefferson, again, I can't thank you enough for being here, for taking this project that's been so desperately needed in this district for a long time, taking it, running with it, and just making it what it is. The literal sky is the limit, and under your leadership, it's been great. I can't wait to see what it's going to be.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate your time as well. Our program motto is developing service-minded citizens of character. And so that is what we've set out here to do at Clinton High School.
Well, you've done a great job. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.